Few players made more noise at the PBR Future Games than Slater de Brun, and here is the 2025 outfielder out of Oregon Summit High School. Slater, welcome in, man. Appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Cory, for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. Listen, some big praise for you. PBR Shooter Hunt called you the most alluring player at the event. You had 3 hits in total, the triple, the walk-off 3-run home run from Pacific Northwest. You've had a little bit of time now to sit with it. Tell me what truly stood out to you during your Future Games experience.
Yeah, man, it was unreal. Probably definitely the greatest event I've ever been to. And the best part was Team Pacific Northwest coming together and going 3-0. I know a team from the Northwest has never done that, so that was super special. And by game 2, we were all into it. We bought in, and all we wanted to do was go 3-0 and win, and that's what made it so magical.
Tell me about that camaraderie with you guys, because there's so many different teams there that represent a state. There's a few, obviously Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic. There's some others, Carolinas, that are multiple states, but you guys are, all over the place there in the Pacific Northwest. So tell me about that team coming together and being able to gel fast.
Yeah, I know. I think that we kind of played with a chip on our shoulders. So, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, are the 3 main states, but I think we've kind of felt like we're a little underrepresented on the national scale when it comes to baseball. We always know there's a ton of good players coming from SoCal, from the South, everywhere, but like the Northwest, we feel now we've had our big leaguers, we have our Corbin Carrolls and all that, but I felt like we came in there trying to represent ourselves and prove that we could beat the Arizonas, the Californias, and that's kind of the chip we had on our shoulders.
Well, talk about representing yourself. I mean, you did so without question. Let's talk about that walk-off home run in the 9-7 win over Colorado. First pitch fastball down the middle. You jump all over it. Take me inside that at bat and what you were looking for when you went up to the plate.
Yeah, that kid was throwing really hard. He was up in the 90s, and basically I didn't want to get to 2 strikes. I know he had a high RPM breaking ball, and I didn't want to see it. So I like the ball low, especially first pitch, low fastball. That's the pitch I feel like I can get to. And he put it where I wanted to. So luckily I was on time and I was able to square it up. But yeah.
Yeah, you made sure you got all of that one. The swing brings you down to your knee on your back leg. I mean, that was just an all leverage swing, trying to get everything you could out of that one.
Yes, sir. Like that's kind of what helps me get to the low pitches. I land so wide and my knee almost gets so far down. It can kind of hurt me on the high pitch sometimes, but I tried to cut that pitch off at PBR, especially with the velo that we were seeing from the other pitchers. So I cut it off and just looked for the low pitch, and luckily he gave me it.
You remain uncommitted as of now, the top-ranked player at your position in Oregon, the class, number 7 overall, the highest-ranked player uncommitted in the state. I know the attention was obviously there before, but what's it been like post-Future Games, the buzz and everything ramping up, especially after that August 1st opportunity for coaches to get back in touch with you guys?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, my team, Pacific Northwest, helped elevate all of our images were elevated from that tournament, and Shooter's done a lot for me with his write-ups and all that. And our coaches, Coach Jurek, Bryn, and Alex, they've done so much behind the scenes talking for me. So, it was really fun on seeing what happened after that tournament. But, PBR Futures Games, just one step is getting into college, helps you get into college. And after that, it's starting in college and then pro ball, however far down the road you want to look. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm focused.
How do you stay patient during this process? Because your class was in this weird situation where you couldn't talk to anybody. Obviously, August 1st hits, you're allowed to again. How do you kind of reserve things and not just say, oh, I've been waiting, I got to make a decision?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've taken a really long time to make this decision, and I feel like I'm doing my due diligence. And part of it is just knowing that, like, I want my college coach to understand me as well as I'm going to understand them. And if I'm going to make a commitment to them, I want them to know, like, that they're going to make a commitment to me too. And so that process doesn't mean you're jumping at your first opportunity. It means you're doing full research, visiting the campus, getting to know the coaches on a personal level. And so, yeah, that takes some time, but I'm willing to do that. So I know that I'm going to get the right fit.
So let's talk about the player that whoever ultimately gets that commitment is going to get with you. If you're self-scouting, if a coach gets you on the phone and says, Slater, tell me about you as a player, how would you do it?
I'd say the number one thing I want to do on the field is win. Like, everything's based off of winning. So I like to think that I play fast and I like to run. That's kind of my main asset. And so that all goes into winning. If I get on first, like, I'm going to steal second to get in scoring position for the next guy. And on Team Pacific Northwest at Futures Games, that's all we really needed. Like, they were scoring me left and right. Other guys were scoring other guys. Like, it's just a game about getting on base and running base. Whoever scores the most runs. Whoever scores the most runs wins. And so that's kind of what I think about, especially as a leadoff guy, like get on base, get the second, and then let my 2, 3, 4 hole do the rest. And it really, for baseball, for me, it just comes down to winning. I'm kind of new to the sport, and I think we all play to win. But for me, like the dopamine I get after winning, after going 3-0 at Futures games, is just unreal. Like there's nothing like it.
Okay, so you're new to how long have you been playing baseball?
Yeah, I started when I was 12, so I played a couple little league seasons and then got into 2 years of travel ball, I think, and then into high school ball. So I think that's really helped me with my love for the game, and I feel far from burnt out, luckily. And yeah.
You obviously play with a ton of energy. Is there anybody in particular that you've modeled your game after? Anybody that you look to and say, that's how you play baseball?
Yes, sir. Like I mentioned before, Cory McCartney, he's in the bigs, Northwest guy from Washington, and then the other guy I would think of is Travis Bazana at Oregon State. Man, I just remember watching him last year, and the way he talks to his teammates, the way he's talking on the field, his body language, the way he carries himself. Like that's how I want to look on the baseball field, and then the performance speaks for itself. But I think both those guys carry themselves the right way, and I want to be like them.
We've seen the exit velocity nearing 100 miles an hour, averaging in the low 90s, that coming at 5'9", 171 pounds. I mean, obviously, we saw with the walk-off, the power is there, but how is developing the lower half been able to help you when you're a guy who's not 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows that a swing starts with the legs. And there's multiple ways to develop that. You can go for your traditional squat, front squat, but I think a couple of things that have helped me is really like power cleans and med ball throws, and just trying to be explosive. So it's not necessarily how big you can get, it's how fast you can use that muscle. And so in the off season, along with my speed training with my coach Damien, kind of like track training, it's all about training fast. And so if you have that fast switch in your legs, it doesn't really matter how big you are. If you can move fast towards that ball, especially with the increasing velocity as age goes up, it can really help you.
So as you eye your junior season, where do you feel like this is the key for me reaching the next level in your game? Like, what's that big point of emphasis as you look for what's ahead for you?
Yeah, I think the key to all baseball things is consistency. And I know I've had hot stretches and I've had cold stretches like every other player pretty much I've ever heard of. And so just locking in the consistency and being able to do it for a whole spring and summer and fall is what I need to do. And that comes with being able to hit every single pitch in the zone, away, in, down, up. And so that's what I'm going to be working on this offseason, especially the up pitch. Not landing too wide, keeping my posture, super important for hitting hard stuff, but I'm going to drill into it.
Well, listen, man, a 2025 without question to watch out of Oregon. Slater, man, thanks for the time. Wishing you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much, Cory. I really appreciate it.